third one we've got this week is about the future and about what we call the new normal. And apparently, the new normal is doing what you and I have been doing and what millions of other people have been doing for a long time, and working from our homes.
Yeah, absolutely. So this is IWG, who are a workspace provider, and they've essentially said that some sort of hybrid working or working from home some of the time will become the new norm for many companies post-pandemic, which I think is a completely reasonable thing to bet on, actually. And they've kind of said this is because firms are going to want to save money on office space, which again makes total sense, and also because of environmental concerns.
Yeah.
Because no matter how you travel to work, whether it's train, car, whatever, fewer emissions, fewer people, sorry, mean fewer emissions, because obviously fewer trains would have to run and things like that. So there's definitely a lot of sense here. From my perspective as somebody that writes for City AM, I know what we're trying to do really is get a sense of who's coming back, how many people are coming back, how often are they coming back, because it's interesting, it's going to shape the City of London. And so far, I would say things are very split. And there have been some bosses that have come out and pretty much said a resounding nope, no more home working. And that's the boss of Goldman Sachs has been absolutely explicit. This is not for us. Barclays has said home working isn't sustainable. Now, I'm not sure how to read that. That might mean that they say, you're not doing it 100% of the time. That actually could still be a vote for hybrid working. But comparatively, Lloyds Banking Group is gearing up to reduce its office space by 20% over 2 years, because they carried out a survey that found that nearly 80% of employees actually wanted to work from home for at least 3 days a week. So I imagine probably the hybrid model is here to stay. Things were certainly moving that way pre-pandemic, and I think an employer would have a hard time justifying forcing people in 5 days a week. Because there's really in all the research that I see on this, there is certainly an appetite to work from home. People like that they're saving money, they like that they're saving time on the commute, that they're having more time with their family. But that's not to say that they don't also miss seeing their colleagues a few times a week. So I think this probably is the way that we're going.
Yeah, it's about finding that happy median, isn't it? And I know some people are dead against going back to the office at all. Some people, and many of us are more traditional, old school bosses, are dead against their staff. Once they're able to stay away, they can come straight back and work full time in the office. I think that may well be a short term thing, because the other factor, of course, we've got to consider here, and as you say, people are consulting with their staff, are asking them what they want to do. But you can imagine that sort of old school boss who says, no more working from home, you're allowed back in the office now, come back. But then over time, once opportunities come up, you could then vote with your feet and move on to a company that did offer a more flexible way of doing things. And because you can work remotely now anywhere in the country, anywhere in the world, your options are going to be that much broader, so you're going to have more choice of associated with. But yeah, the environmental reasons resonated with me as well. It's not just the getting on the train, but it's the cars on the road. It's all the forms of transport. Money Supermarket did some research on this recently, and they said of the people who plan to work on like a hybrid basis, maybe 2 days a week at home, 3 days in the office, and they're doing it to save money on their commute, 11% were planning to get around by e-scooter. And I found that interesting, firstly, because I have an e-scooter, but secondly, because as things stand, they're entirely illegal. And you actually get arrested, well, not arrested, but fined if you get caught with one on the road or on the pavement. So maybe the government needs to catch up a little bit on this. If 11% of people are planning to go around on e-scooters, I know a lot of people do own them and use them in a slightly naughty fashion like I do, then the government might need to catch up a bit on the rules there.
That's such a funny stat. Clearly nobody knows that that's illegal. I wouldn't have a clue. I don't have an e-scooter, but I'd love to have one, and I would have thought it's fine. But you're totally right on the voting with your feet, by the way, because there was another article in the Times that I may as well be sponsored by at this point, that was saying that actually employees have said that they will quit their jobs and move elsewhere if they are not offered any flexible working.
Yeah.
And to be fair, if I was a young hotshot in banking and was maybe thinking of making a move somewhere, Goldman and Barclays that would have really put me off, because I would think, I know a lot of your staff will want to do a lot of working from home, and are you really just going to put your fingers in your ear and force everybody back in? I don't think that's a very good strategy to maintain all your kind of high level employees, because people can get jobs elsewhere, and they will if you don't give them what they want. Now, other companies are going to. What are you guys doing? Because you are a business owner.
Yeah, so we have two offices currently, and we're probably getting rid of one of them. Just we don't see as much need for office space. We have 17 staff, and we're asking them what their preferences are. So some of them want to come back a day or two a week. Some are quite happy working from home entirely. One of the interesting things during this pandemic was our ability to start hiring people from further afield. So we now have a fantastic young lady working over in Gloucester, which is quite some way from Cranley, a young chap down in Brighton. And these are people that probably wouldn't have considered coming to work for us in the old way of doing things pre-pandemic, because they wouldn't have got in the car or on the train every day to come to Cranley, and we didn't really have the setup to offer that remote working, that flexibility. But now it works really well, and it's been proven to work. So, given it's been proven to work, it's right that we continue that, even when the rules say we're allowed to go back to the office. I think all of us are quite keen to get into the office occasionally and see other people and have that human interaction, but it's not going back to that slog of the daily commute, particularly for people who are doing that for an hour or two every day, or even longer in some cases. It's not really correlated with a happy existence, is it?
No, I mean, I was reading a BBC article on this, and they'd obviously found a few commuters to talk to. And there was this guy that was commuting from, I think it was Eastbourne into Canary Wharf every day. And it was taking him something like 2.5 hours one way. So the pandemic gave him back 5 hours into his day.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was him, I'd be saying, I'm really sorry, there is no way I'm coming back 5 days a week. Absolutely none. I'll come in. Oh, we can come to a compromise, whatever, but no way am I coming in 5 days a week, because you must think of the amount of sleep he'll have got apart from anything else. He must feel so much better rested, having to, it's not have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning or something completely ridiculous. Humans are just not built for that. People want to see their families. I think, from my personal opinion, is that I think a hybrid working is probably the nicest option. I miss chatting to my colleagues. I'm quite a chatty person, and even if I'm sat in the lounge all day, I find myself kind of nattering away on Slack, just because I miss that sort of back and forth about silly, like even what you've watched on TV and things like that. The thing I hate is the commute. I think if I lived next door to my office, I'd probably wander in every day and say hi to everyone and work there, but I can't stand commuting. So, and I'm sure I'm not alone in that. I'm sure there are plenty of people that love their colleagues but hate everything that's involved in getting to and from the office. So I think if I was a business owner, I think I'd be tempted to say, right, I want you in 3 days a week, all of them on the same day, so that we could all see each other, and then let's have a vote on which days you'd rather work from home, which I would wager are probably going to be Monday and Friday, because that seems like a nice little option. And I would democratize the workplace, and I'd be a really lovely boss. I'd work for me.
Hannah for president. There we go. That's your campaign speech. Hannah, thank you for joining us again for this episode of Talking Money. Links, as always, in the description, and show notes and things. Please do leave us a rating and review if you're listening to this on your favourite podcast player. And if you're watching us on YouTube, press that like button and make sure you subscribe too. But thank you so much for watching. Hannah, thank you for joining us again.
Thank you very much.